Throughout the history, when we hear about Eucharistic miracles, it means the Lord revealed himself truly present in the Holy Eucharist. And that's why people call it Eucharistic miracle. I want to begin first with the story of a little boy. He's famously known in Boston as Mighty Quinn, or those of you who have seen him or his story from Massachusetts on social media. My little Quinny was diagnosed with cancer when he was not yet quite 3 years old. I didn't know him at that time. This is my dear Quinny. At that time, I didn't know this little child. He went through chemo, radiation, many surgeries. And then he did very well for about 10 months. But sadly, the cancer came back. The second time, it was very scary for his parents. And somebody told them to go to the convent and pray with the sisters. They came to our convent, as you saw in the first picture, him holding a cross. We have a prayer room with about 45 relics of saints, including the true relic of the cross. I gave that to little Quinny and I prayed with him. As they were leaving, I went back to the chapel and I prayed more for him. And I felt in my heart Jesus saying, "Give me to him, give me to him." And I thought that would be in prayer, that I will send Jesus to be with him. But 24 hours later, that voice in my heart, I kept hearing Jesus saying, "Give me to him." And then I thought maybe the Lord wants me to give him communion, but he wasn't quite yet 5. So I decided to call our archdiocese and talk to a canon lawyer to see if for pastoral reason, because of the seriousness of his cancer, if he will be allowed to receive his first communion. And grateful to our Archbishop Cardinal Sean O'Malley and the canon lawyer of our diocese, the permission was granted. We had very short window before he was beginning his radiation, 48 hours. I went to his parents and I said, I think Jesus wants to accompany Quinny in his 33 days of radiation. He would be receiving his first communion. I remember his father called me aside and he said, "Why you want to give first communion to my son? Is he dying?" I said, I don't have the answer about the length of his life, but I know Jesus wants to be with him. 48 hours later, I got him the white suit that you saw in the earlier picture, and my dear little Quinny received his first communion. For 33 days, Quinny received communion every Sunday. And when he was able, I brought him before the Blessed Sacrament for a visit with Jesus. All his doctors and medical teams, they were surprised that 33 days radiation had very little effect on him in terms of side effects. But you and I, we know who was taking all that from him. It was Jesus in the Eucharist. I have been very blessed accompanying Quinny the last 3 years, and he moved from one miracle to another. Thanks be to God, even the doctors and his medical team, they were wondering how he managed all the treatment, all the surgeries, radiation, and more chemo. He became an inspiration because of his faith. Even when he was given a chance to go to Disney, he said to his mom, "Make sure you book the flight Sunday after Mass, and we have to come back on Saturday so we won't miss the Mass." His whole life became around the Eucharist. And thanks be to God and to the power of the Holy Eucharist and Our Lady, today our dear Quinny is free of cancer. He's a mighty warrior for Jesus.